Hey guys, and welcome to episode 3. Thanks for coming back. You are here with My Thoughts in Orbit, a read along of my book, My Thoughts in Orbit, an accidental memoir about thinking too much. My name is Josh, and I am a dad, an author, a writer, and an award-winning columnist. So you're here to hear me read chapter 5 and 6 of this book. And I know it doesn't mean anything to you, but sometimes you recording snafu, and I recorded pretty much this whole episode, or at least thought I was, and realized I didn't hit the record button. So I'm going to try it again and hope it works out this time. Also, real quick, I just want to show you this picture. This is my bookmark. It's my son on a go-kart, looking like he's trying to take a poop. And he would love me for saying that. So we're going to jump right into this. This chapter 5 is called You Better Believe I Can Hold a Grudge. November 7th, 2013. One thing I forgot to mention so far, I can be a real shithead. I can pick one thing about a person and hold on to that for as long as I please, just or not. So this for me was a lesson about communication. The fall of 2013 marked one whole year that I had not spoken to my father. I was so pissed at him. I think that I have always held on to these feelings that stem from my parents' divorce. They split up when I was a teenager, when I believe a father is most important. I'm not placing blame on either of my parents. After 27 years of marriage, they had had enough. My brother was still in the house. We listened to them argue nightly. It got to the point where we would mock them from the next room. "I'm taking the toilet paper," my brother would say. Then I would come back with, "Oh yeah, well I'm taking the garden hose." Their divorce almost felt like a relief. Even as a kid, I knew it was over. But as I finished up high school, I lived with my mom. She let me do whatever I wanted, but I never took advantage of that. I never got into any type of trouble. For the most part, I sat at home with my two best friends, getting fatter and lazier by the minute, playing video games and making meals in the deep fryer, washing it down with sweet tea. I was pretty good at sports when I was smaller, so by the time my senior year came, I thought I was ready to pick those up again. I tried out for the football team. It was hard and I quit after one day. I tried out for the basketball team. Same outcome. I'm not blaming my mom, but she never made me see things through. I always wanted my dad there to make me do that. So if you know me at all, and I'm about to say this again, but How I Met Your Mother is like my favorite show, so this is literally one of my favorite pieces I've ever written still. And it is called The Grudge, How I Met Your Mother Saved Me and My Dad. Anyone that knows me probably knows I'm a pretty big How I Met Your Mother fan. So for this one to work, you have to play along. As you read, pretend I'm Bob Saget. Not that filthy stand-up Bob Saget. The cool, calm dad. Full House Bob Saget. If not, the whole story will be ruined. Thank you for playing along. Kids, the universe has a way of telling us when something has to be done. You can put it off and put it off, but that thing isn't going to go away by itself. Like a load of laundry staring you in the face, like a sink full of dirty dishes, or grass that's too high. My parents split up when I was 15 or 16 and I lived with my mom. I didn't have much of a father figure. My relationship with my dad wasn't awful, but it wasn't the best either. We didn't see each other or talk a whole lot. Now my dad was a pretty stern guy, not a real let's talk out our problems kind of guy to me. If I got in trouble at school, I was more afraid of what he would do than worry about my detention. Fast forward to about 2.5 years ago. For the sake of not naming names, the next two characters in this story are Frank and William, both of which are family members. So I go to a high school football game with Frank one Friday night. Frank turns to me and says, "William was at my house the other day and told me your dad said some suggestive things about your relationship with your fiancée and your child on the way." I was absolutely floored. I couldn't believe it. Knowing our relationship wasn't the best in the first place, so I got angry. I was hurt and pretty dumbfounded. People that know me also know I can hold a grudge like nobody's business. I didn't speak to my dad for a little over a year without even talking to him about it. I was done. To be honest, I didn't really feel that bad about it either. I skipped phone calls, birthday parties, even skipped Christmas. This was one of my worst faults, avoiding things that needed to be addressed, sweeping things under the rug. I know this. I'm trying all the time to fix it. So I'm sitting at home one day watching How I Met Your Mother, and Marshall's dad dies of a heart attack. The gears in my head start spinning like a mouse on a wheel chasing a piece of cheese. Then, a few episodes later, Barney's dad, who he had never had a relationship with, comes back into the picture. He's angry. He doesn't want to deal with him. Finally, someone I can get behind, to be angry with, instead of making me feel bad about my own situation. Then, Marshall and Barney get together, and this happens. Barney: guys, get it through your heads. I'm never going to talk to my dad again. Marshall: no, Barney, I'm never going to talk to my dad again. But your dad is alive and he lives just down the road. It was much more dramatic than just a few sentences. It was one of those moments of television that just slaps you in the face. I paused the television and kind of just sat there quietly, staring at the wall. Life is just too short. I knew I had to. What if something happened to him? What if something happened to me? How would I ever live with myself? In my stubbornness, it still took me a few days to get up the nerve, but I called him. After explaining to him, he said, "That's it? That's why we haven't talked?" That's not how that conversation went. I told him he was never someone I felt I could talk to about things. He said, "Well, it's time we start." Finally, a resolution after a year of hearing from everyone: you just need to talk to him. So there you have it. How I Met Your Mother didn't save my dad and I from a burning building, but it probably saved our relationship and turned something bad back to good. It made me see how selfish I can be at times. So how easy is it just to react and not think? How easy is it just to ignore something and become complacent? We can find what we're looking for if we're willing to accept it. We can find strength, inspiration, and hope. Sometimes it comes from the most unexpected places. A goofy but wonderful television show, a stranger, or even a Facebook post. I hope we all find what we're looking for. I hope we all find that moment that flips that switch. You know, when you just sit and look at your phone, your fingers just feel stuck. No way they will be able to press the buttons. When he eventually picked up, I think I mumbled and stammered over my words for the first couple minutes of the conversation. When you are wrong, you're wrong, but it's never too late to make it right. Like I said, that's one of my favorite things I've written. Still is, and that was 7 years ago at this point. A little over, actually. This next one is quick, so I'm going to jump right into it as well, and then we'll wrap this up for today. This is called The Airport, November 13th, 2013. She had left in the morning at the same time as I did. I was going to work. She was going to Wisconsin for training for her job. She was excited to go, but feeling guilty at leaving me at home with all the kids for the week. Maybe it wasn't even the entire week. I don't remember. But boy, it sure felt like it. As silly as it sounds, I wondered if this is what it was like to be a single parent, working all day just to go home to the cooking and cleaning every night. It must feel like having 2 full-time jobs. By the middle of the week, I felt pretty lost. After writing such a sad-sounding blurb, you'd think she'd passed away. But honestly, that's how I felt. I love that woman with all my heart. I still do. Thankfully, my wife came back in one piece. I remember vividly making my kids listen to a podcast about string theory on the drive, and how bored and crazy I must have been making them. I'll never forget how happy we all were that night when we finally saw her walking through those big shiny doors. Alone. I'm sitting in the break room in complete solitude. This is one of those days where the silence makes me feel crazy. One hand clenched around my drink and the other on my straw, moving it up and down just to listen to the squeaky sound it makes. I don't want to go home. My house feels cold. My bed feels cold. This house is no longer a home. It's just four walls and a roof. She's gone. I miss her so much. I feel lost. I feel alone. I feel confused. I don't really know how I'll live without her here. I think about that cheesy song, Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. I think about what kind of parent I'll be without her. Can I do this on my own? I know you haven't been gone long, and I know you're coming back soon. I know that I'm sensitive. I know that I'm sappy. But when the other half of me is gone, I feel it. The page isn't long enough to tell you how much I love you. I cannot wait until you come home. Now, if you post something that sounds like this on Facebook, don't be surprised when numerous people respond with, "Oh my gosh, is everything okay?" I can look back and laugh now, but realize that this may have been one to keep for myself. I probably should keep to myself. So that's it. Like I said, there's a lot of things in here about I was happily married when I wrote this book, so it's definitely a lot different situation now. But hey, it's just words on page. It's what I was going through then. You know what I mean? Like that little blurb there is it's pretty cringy feeling now to read. But hey, that's what it was. That's what it is. So, thank you for showing up for one more episode. And I hope you come back for the next one. If you got any questions, leave them down below. Please share. It would mean a lot to me. I'm enjoying making these videos. I know I don't have like a set schedule, so they're kind of just sporadically, but I'm going to keep reading through this book, and I hope you stay along with me on the ride. Peace.